Self hatred is just another excuse that we make to ourselves, that we tell to ourselves to make another mistakes, to convince ourselves that we are aware and that I'm willing to change this thing, this behavior, misbehavior of mine, of ours, in ways of not actually changing, not actually doing the thing that makes you kind of compensate and redeem your own mistakes, but but just hiding inside your mind, just pondering and overthinking over and over again about the things that you did and trying to compensate it in a weird way most of the times, in ways that aren't even actually directly like related to the thing. So let's say you broke another promise to yourself. You try to be consistent in the gym or anything that you try to develop, like a new skill, like a good habit that you try to develop and you failed. Let's say you try to read 20 pages of a book, any book every single day, and you skipped yesterday and you want to skip today as well. What happens in your brain is when you constantly make these kind of mistakes over and over again, let's say you try to build a good habit before and you failed multiple times, and this is like you can't even count anymore, like count you failed the same, making the same good habit countless times. What happens is like you now that your brain remembers and learns that you're not going to be consistent about this, it gets much harder than the first time and the early times, obviously. And what happens is like you thinking about like you no longer become the person who makes mistakes, instead of you become the mistake. You talk to yourself. This is I'm also guilty of this. Actually, many of my videos are inspired from my past bad behaviors and bad habits that I had, and I still have lots of them. So that's most of the times I can like very resonate with the people who are going through these kind of problems, and I can relate to them, and that's why I can talk about these kind of things with, how do I say this, like earnestly. I mean, honestly, more authentic, and honestly, because I've been there and I am there as well. Like we I'm still incomplete, and I don't even think that I'll ever be able to be the kind of person that I want to be. So back to the main topic. The thing that I want to say is that, so what happens is, after making the countless mistakes over and over again, you talk to yourself as if you are not a not a worth person. How do I say, like you're not worth it to even it the kind of like to even utilize the privileges or the things that you have around, things that you have around you. So let's say you could easily just talk about it to your parents or your like any of the family members, or you could just open it up to one of your closest friends, or if you don't have friends like me, you could just like talk to anyone that you know about the problem if you can. Or if you genuinely wanted to solve the problem, you would have tried to change the, let's say, like make it much more detailed. Let's say you want to read 20 pages of the book. Well, this is what the method that I used before when I try to get closer to books and reading books, just reading in general. This is what I did. I stopped thinking about the pages, like reading the amount, like certain amount of pages cannot be your goal, cannot be your consistent goal. Just like just doing 20 pull-ups every single day is infinitely harder. Like being consistent in that is infinitely harder than actually dialing in diets and having your own personal, or like just following the most generic workout routines like push pull legs that I'm doing. So like the reason being is our brain's so developed, and we constantly overthink to the point that if the plan is just way too simple, we often fail it. We often fail simple things much easier than the things that are complex. I don't know if I'm the only one who thinks it this way, because when when things are just so simple, then you don't really see the kind of progress, or you don't feel like you earned it. And when the things gets much difficult, hard, and you gotta focus on this and this and that, and it takes like an hour and a half day to complete, and you gotta do it every single day, or like 6 times a week, then that's when the challenge comes from, and that's where happiness and all the achieve how do I say it, like achieved feeling, like feeling like you achieve something, achievements comes from. So like that's how I did. I just stopped thinking about the things, like just putting in keeping things simple. Instead, what you have to keep things in simple is those things that you have to keep in simple are the things like trying to, let's say, you have your own workout routine, or like you have your own reading routines. Let's say you read like this amount of pages or this amount of time in this topic of a book, and you try to change it from like it to into another type of books, like I did. So I would start with something that I would be very interested about, but I was very interested in, like novels, or just some fantasy fictional books, or novels, yeah, or like web novels. And I would change to classic, and I would move to linguistics that I was slightly interested in back then. So you need to take simple steps when you actually you are doing the complex things, not like just putting all the things like no detail at all, and simpling it out in a way that isn't really like challenging you at all. So that's when you lose the motive and everything. But I kind of digress and sidetracked. But I really think that when you really want to change something, you just act instead of think. And this happens a lot. I find myself doing this so many times back then when I was in high school, when I was so depressed, to the point I couldn't do something. I was always sleeping late because I've got nothing else to expect from tomorrow, or future days. I was so hollow and voided every single day. Like I didn't even question the kind of things that I do right now. I just existed. I wasn't living my life. I was just being a side character of like actual and extra of in a film or in a book. Like not even the kind of characters that gets mentioned. I was just existing there without having any kind of thoughts going on. I just wasted my time. Or like when a man is like lacks of meaning, he surrounds himself in satisfactions, and vice versa. When a man cannot find gratifications and satisfactions, then he surrounds himself with purposes, meanings. So I lacked of meaning back then, and I was just, and I'm very ashamed of this, but meant to admit the fact that I didn't live the kind of life that I'm proud of. So I mean, not like I harassed anyone, but like I did so many bad things to myself, and I still am ashamed about those things. And most of the times when I get thrown back to the point, to those kind of periods of my to those periods of my life, I tend to find myself, catch myself feeling the kind of feeling like, oh yeah, I was there, and like I seriously don't ever want to get back to that kind of life ever again. And that's also the kind of motive that I have. I have this regret inside me, and this and desire came from those kind of regrets. So yeah, again, when you're just constantly hating on yourself, like, and the difference between criticizing yourself, trying to actually improve and better yourself, and just hating on you, it like you clearly know, but you cannot be aware of it when you're doing it at the time. And the easiest way to identify, like, to the clear distinctions are when you are using yourself, you're telling yourself as if you can actually change, or you're just trying to bash, like you're trying to like be emotional and throw out all the emotions out of that, like out of this yourself, like this image of yourself that you hate. And I honestly, when this depressive thoughts got me so badly back then, when I try to like end myself and stuff like that, like I remember it wasn't even like something big thing. I don't even remember like exact stuff, but I was so caught on my thought, like just hating on myself. I don't want to improve this, and just this kind of person. I'm incapable of living in this world. Like I'm just a burden in my family. I don't have anything going on in my life. I can't bear myself. This is just insufferable, you know? Like I'm an insufferable douchebag. You know the kind of stuff's going on when you are being so depressive. And the point, like this actually isn't like talking to yourself in a criticizing way. It's more of a hating way. Like, you know, it's not gonna improve you in any ways. And if you were actually trying to live the life, if you wanted to be a proud son, and you know, just like proud of yourself, you know, live for yourself and live the life like anyone else, you know, just become a part of the part of society, and become a well, how do I say, like a decent, have a decency, and not become a deviant, like a weird ass antisocial, then you would have done it. What I'm trying to say is like, if you genuinely wanted to change something, you're of being authentic to yourself, and you would just do the thing, you know, do the thing, do the first step, take the first step instead of thinking, because you already know that you're way too far away from the baseline, like the average standard. Most of the times you are falling behind in grades, or falling behind, I don't know, like most of the things that you like normal people would do, you cannot do them, since you haven't been, you didn't actually try anything. Yeah, this is also another thing that I see many times. um but people would just like not even give a try, when you just when if you just spend an hour, let's say, like every single students, or like in anything, any fields, if you just spend an hour, like actual hour of focusing on that one thing every single day, in 100 days you would be like genuinely, you will be better than like 90% of people on average. And in terms of like school, I have this friend, like he actually impressed me so much, and he taught me the kind of I got inspired of his studying style. You know, he was so free, he had so much time, and the thing that he would do is he spends 2 hours, just like 2 hours. But he studied, he had AP classes going on, and like everything. I know he's been consistently doing this since he was in like junior high, elementary school, around that age. He told me about this study method that he got taught since he was younger age from his, it wasn't his dad, or like uncle from mom's side. It's kind of like too much information, but he he has been only studying for 2 hours every single day. And he was like a valedictorian at the end of the high school. Like he got deep, when the names come, his name, how do I say, like they call out his name during the graduation. He had the no, honorable mention, the kind of thing, you know. So like, and he would never like feel stressed about it, because it became part. I understand it's not easy at first. Obviously, people like me, or like most of people who aren't as smart as that guy, like my friend, he clearly was smart, but like he wasn't like smart to the point like he didn't have to spend that much time in it, in studying in general. But yeah, again, if if you are just trying to hate on yourself, and I would rather just do nothing, or I would rather just like sleep, just go to the bed, go to bed. That's exactly what I did a couple of months ago when I wasn't feeling that good. The moment I become like be aware of it, I just don't do anything, and I just straight like go to bed. Even when it was like 7 p.m. right after I ate dinner, I would just go to bed, wake up at like 2, 3. You wake up like several times since it's not your usual sleeping time, and it takes like an hour to even fall asleep. But the point here is like trying to wake up as early as possible. So I would wake up at 3 or 4, and I would literally just do anything that I feel like I want to do. So I'll waste my time like scrolling or like playing video games, and it would be still, and the time was still 7 or 8. So I go out and like eat something, or I feel like shit about myself, but at least I have time today to do the things that I have to do, and I would just like keep on following those kind of things. And I'm not saying like you should waste your time, but wasting 2 hours at night and sleeping at 2 a.m. and wasting your 2 hours after waking up at 6 a.m. is massive. Like the difference is actually massive. I cannot actually tell the scientific um, things behind it. But I think just waking up as early as possible will always help me on going through this kind of things that made me very depressive every single time. And again, I sidetracked this whole video, but the point is when you're using this emotion, I 100% get it, and it's even addicting to the point you cannot like get away with it because you feel like you are being aware of your problem. You're just like, oh yeah, it's all my fault, and actually it's true. The problem is like it's actually true that it's your fault, but you aren't actually trying to change it. You aren't actually trying to better improve, like put yourself in a better position. You're just using this again. You're just making another mistake by blaming everything on you and not doing a single thing and trying to kill yourself or something. I know I went to the extreme, but this is exactly how I felt like back then when I was in junior high, high school. Like I look back at myself, and I look stupid, but like obviously it's me myself, my past. So I may be romanticizing myself, but like I also pity myself. But I also, how do I say, like I'm proud that I got out of that kind of those kind of periods of my life, and now that I can do the things that I genuinely love doing, it feels like I already made a huge improvement and progress in my life. Like not something I want to like tell everyone, but I've been through these kind of things, and I'm here now. I'm not gonna kind of feeling like I want to get validations from this, but maybe it is, and like subconsciously I want to get validation since I'm putting this out on the internet. Like I want someone to listen to this and talk, like listen to my stories. But in general, like I just have this, like this also is like a part of my ego and pride that I have in myself. That at least I've been through this. I had gone through this, and I'm out of that phase, that period of my life. And if anyone of you who's watching this are going through the same similar thing, like I said, like you're just blaming yourself. And you know what, the problem with this, the reason why I said it's addicting is because it cycles. Like, okay, so I'm blaming myself because I want to blame myself and do nothing, so I blame myself again and again. And the best way to break it is just do it. And once you try to do it, just like for not even like whole month, like 100 days, whole month, just like all the YouTubers say, like I tried try to do this thing like for 100 days. You only need one day, one good day, and you realize how easy that is. Like seriously, it's you just gotta lock in for the one time, and you'll not be suicidal. you don't want to kill yourself anymore because it's so easy. Like you just got everyone wants to leave. You just gotta lock in these things for a couple like for like okay like it would be hard in the first time in when you like start off, but you don't need that much time to change yourself seriously, especially when it comes to being this extremely nihilistic and depressive. The feeling is very intense at like it's like motivation fades away when you don't keep doing the thing, and or when you don't get inspired after it's done. So you watch some kind of content, or so like your dad talks to you and you get this fire, you get this strong intense motivation inside you, and it fades away in a couple of weeks, or even in like a couple of days. Just like that, you can just kill it. You kill the feeling of constantly hitting on yourself by actually doing like and stacking up with small wins. Yeah, that really is about it. Don't don't be suicidal. Just start doing something seriously. And this comes from a person who actually was extremely suicidal back then in the days. And I don't want to say like, oh, you are in the like this ridiculous small problem. Like this is huge, and that's why I can tell you that this is huge. I know you're feeling like this is like like a big giant mountain that you can never cross, and you constantly overthink about it. But seriously, dude, like you just need that one good day, like one day or like 1 hour. Seriously, like you don't need that much, and you can do it. You know that you can do it deep in your heart. So just wanted to share this thought with you guys. Self-hatred is just another defensive mechanism of you trying to make an excuse so that you make the same mistake over again. So all you got to do is keep on doing the things that you should be doing, and you know it. You know exactly what you should be doing.